Seoul, South Korea. This is where we're going, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the White House press secretary, told us, holding up a piece of notebook paper on which she had scrawled the letters DMZ. I and the other reporters traveling with President Trump on the third day of his 12-day Asia trip had been summoned before dawn to a hotel conference room, and were now being told what we had suspected since late the night before. Mr. Trump would make a surprise, unscheduled visit to the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. A commander-in-chief with a penchant for insulting a nuclear-armed dictator would be setting foot just steps away from Kim Jong-un's troops. So sensitive was the trip, so heightened the security posture, Ms. Sanders said, that she had been instructed not even to utter the location aloud. We were sworn to secrecy until Mr. Trump returned here after the visit, a level of caution far greater than past presidents have taken when traveling to war zones in Iraq or Afghanistan. In White House parlance, news of the visit was embargoed until wheels down back in Seoul, South Korea's capital. So began Mr. Trump's clandestine and ultimately ill-fated attempt on Tuesday to visit one of the world's most dangerous borders. In the end, dense fog forced Marine One and the helicopter convoy accompanying the president to turn back, costing a frustrated Mr. Trump a potent visual and leaving President Moon Jae-in of South Korea waiting at the DMZ for a commander-in-chief who would never arrive. This did not work out as planned, Ms. Sanders said later. The plan, unbeknown to any but a few White House officials, had been in the works for some time, according to Ms. Sanders, having flirted publicly with the prospect that the president would visit the demilitarized zone while he was in Seoul, 35 miles to the south. White House officials had made a show of shooting down the idea, first saying that Mr. Trump was unlikely to go, and later flatly ruling it out. One senior aide went so far as to dismiss the notion as a cliché, noting that Vice President Mike Pence had recently made the trip to peer across the border with the North, as had Jim Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, and Rex W. Tillerson, the Secretary of State. It was difficult to believe that Mr. Trump, a showman who makes little secret of his love of all things militaristic, would forego a chance to visit the site, a staple of presidential trips to the region in the past, particularly during a trip dominated by talks about how to confront the threat from North Korea. But Mr. Moon did not want him to make the trip, officials said, perhaps worrying about allowing the famously unscripted Mr. Trump, who has insulted Mr. Kim, the North Korean leader, as Little Rocket Man, to a place where any errant remark would take on graver significance. Still, when Mr. Trump gave his toast on Tuesday night at a dinner with Mr. Moon at the Blue House, the presidential residence, he touched off another round of speculation about his plans. "We're going to have an exciting day tomorrow, Mr.